So recently, I had the bright idea of watching all of Takopi's original sin at a stupidly early, or late depending on who you ask, time of the day. I had heard that the show is really good, but also really sad. So what better time to binge it all than at 1 AM when my brain is acting at max capacity? Now that I've sat down and watched all 6 episodes, I really want to dedicate some time to spill out my messy, unorganized, but positive thoughts on this show. In this video, I'm going to spoil the entire show and assume you've already watched it. So if you want to check it out, provided you don't find the subject matter triggering, I highly recommend it. It's a very good watch. This video is also how I interpreted the show. I tried not to look up other people's thoughts before writing this, so if you have differing views, please leave a comment. I would love to read them. Watching Takopi's original sin felt like I was on a 2-hour-long roller coaster. There was not a single point while watching this show where I could predict what was going to happen next. After Takopi goes back in time to help Shizuka, I assumed that the majority of the show would be Takopi stuck in a time loop, constantly failing to help in any way whilst also learning more about why Marina relentlessly bullied Shizuka. This theory got cut, seasoned, and flipped on its head by the end of episode 2 though, as Takopi accidentally kills Marina, breaking the camera he was using to time travel, making this a permanent choice. After this moment, I made no more theories. I was just along for the ride, laying in my bed digesting the story as it went. I think this show's biggest strengths are its characters. I found the main 4 to be very compelling and complex, especially for only having 6 episodes with them. What Marina does to Shizuka is deplorable, and at first I thought she was doing it for no reason. But then we get a bit more context on her life. Her mum is abusive and her dad is cheating with Shizuka's mum, so she feels that she has to direct her anger and pain somewhere and blame someone, despite it not being Shizuka's fault in the slightest. We don't get context on the other girls bullying Shizuka though. I guess they're just doing it for the love of the game. Shizuka starts the show feeling hopeless. Her parents have split up, her mum neglects her, she faces extreme bullying at school, her only comfort is her dog and even that's taken from her. But after Takopi kills Marina, Shizuka changes. Takopi. She starts to have hope that things can get better. And as dark as it is, I understand why she is elated to see Marina gone. At this point, she's laser focused on seeing her dog again, to the point where she manipulates her classmate Azuma, and even asks that he turn himself in for the murder to save her. Her breaking point eventually comes when she finally sees her dad again, and he pretends she doesn't exist to his new family. Absolutely outrageous stuff. At this point, Shizuka does do some mad things, like smashing Takopi's head and kidnapping her dad's new family. But just like with Marina, I can't help but also empathize with her through the bad decisions. Azuma also, like the rest, has a lot of struggles at home. The parents in this show must have been summoned by Satan himself, bro. Naoki's brother Junior is a prodigy, getting 100% on his tests and just being an overall very likable guy. So their mum has very big expectations of Naoki, to the point where all the effort and work he puts in is never enough. He can get 95% on a test, but his mother won't show him any affection or support because it wasn't 100%. Come on, brother. Naoki wants nothing more than to be appreciated and loved by his mum, and he projects that onto Shizuka, gaining a crush on her. Well, it's less of a crush and more like he feels he needs to help Shizuka to fix his feelings of inadequacy. At least, that's how I saw it. Finally, we have Takopi, who spends a lot of this show ignorant to how everyone is really feeling. It gets to a point where I was starting to ask myself, isn't Takopi making everything worse? If not for his magical ribbon, Shizuka would have lived through her attempt. He kills Marina, and he helps Marina meet Naoki in the first timeline, which ultimately leads to Naoki leaving her for Shizuka and leads to her death. Instead of sticking around to comfort Marina after she kills her mum in self-defense, Takopi figures he can just go back in time and kill Shizuka to make Marina happy. Takopi not listening and being naive to everyone's struggles is what makes his story compelling though. The scene where he breaks down after experiencing Marina's home life after killing her works so well because he was ignorant to her struggles. At the end, he uses his life to turn back time one more time, and hopes that the kids are finally able to find happiness. The main characters of the show are all engaging, despite their, at times, horrible actions, because we can understand why they would do those things. If Marina was bullying Shizuka for no reason, or Naoki was helping Shizuka escape jail time for just because, I wouldn't like them as much. I probably wouldn't like them at all. But we take deep dives into these characters, which gives their actions more nuance. Doesn't make these things okay, just understandable. This leads us to the ending, which I was initially mixed on but have grown to really enjoy. We're back to the timeline we started with, but things are noticeably different. Marina seems to kinda remember some details of the last timeline, and Naruki doesn't seem to resent his brother here, and actually has the correct prescription glasses. By the end, Marina and Shizuka even seem to remember Takopi, and that spurs them to walk home together and open up to each other. What I like about the ending is that even though their lives are by no means much better or anything, at least now they both have someone who they can relate to and can support each other. In the end, Takopi was useful. He just had to die first. Nah, but in all seriousness, I think this ending is effective for its realistic but hopeful angle, and does do a good job at wrapping up this emotion-packed roller coaster. This video was kinda all over the place, but that's only because my thoughts on Takopi's original sin are all over the place. I never really knew where it was going, and at points I had a hard time digesting all of this show in one sitting. But now that I've got all my thoughts out, I can say without a doubt that this show is one of my favourites this year. Definitely top 5. It is effective in every way, from its unique and stunning visuals to its incredible voice acting. It left me feeling pretty drained, but I also felt so incredibly satisfied, which I was not expecting. Takopi's original sin is a short but impactful masterpiece and one of the best 1am watches I have ever done.